Om Sam Saraswati Namaha. Namaste. Namaste, everyone. On page 64, we're on Sutra number 7. Maya Rahitasya Siddhatva Siddhi. We should first understand the beej of Maya, which is cream. Ha is defined, H is defined as that which can be known through the senses. R, Ra, is what can be conceived in the mind. E is what can be known through intuition. And Answar is that which is beyond. Ma means to measure. Maya is the measurement of what can be perceived through the senses, conceived in the mind, what can be known through intuition, and what is beyond. Maya is the measurement of consciousness. Maya has different meanings and usages in the differing philosophies. In Sankhya philosophy, Maya means illusion, that which obscures reality. In Tantra philosophy, Maya is the embodiment of the Divine Mother. In Vedanta philosophy, Maya is one infinite consciousness in harmony with its own self. Maya is consciousness in perfect unity, perfect harmony. In Sri Vidya, Maya has 3 primary positions. The first is the Maya Vedanta, the one universal existence in harmony with its own self. A second principle does not exist from Maya. There's only one. The second definition is the Maya of Tantra, the one principle of the universe looking at the many, that's you looking to us, and the multitudes of objects and relations, and the many looking to the one. That's all of us looking to you. And the third form of Maya is the Maya of Sankhya, the many looking to the many, and that's us looking at each other and forgetting all about her. And these are different forms of Maya, the embodiment of the Divine Mother of true existence and false appearance. Rohit is the name of the sun, signifying the radiance of the morning sun as it rises. Ashya is in the genitive case, or possessive, the radiance of Maya. Maya Rahitasya. Siddhatva Siddhi is the attainment of all attainments. When one attains the radiance of Maya, one attains to the attainment of all attainments. When one possesses the radiance of Maya, one possesses the attainment of all attainments. Rohit also means the piety of austerities. The performer of pious austerities is Rohit. When one performs pious austerities for Maya, he attains to the Siddhatva Siddhi, which is the attainment of all attainments. Rud means to cry, and Ru means to shout, and Rohit is he who makes Rohit Ru, one who shouts for Maya, attains to the attainment of all attainments. One who cries for Maya attains to the attainment of all attainments. And Maya interjects the word good. Rohit also means red or desire. The desire for Maya is the attainment of all attainments. The discipline of Maya brings the attainment of all attainments. The communion with Maya is the attainment of all attainments. The higher and broader the conception of Maya, the higher the attainment. Maya Rahitasya Siddhatva Siddhi. One time Narad Muni asked Vishnu, "What is Maya?" And Vishnu said, "Come here and I'll show you." down to the earth, and it was very hot. And Vishnu said, let's take a bath. Narad went into the river and ducked his head under the water. And when he came up, he had the body of a woman, and he didn't remember anything. Just then, the king of Kanoj came with his army, and seeing a beautiful young girl, said, "Who are you? Where is your father or your husband? What are you doing here alone?" And the girl answered, "I don't know who my father or my husband is, and I can't even tell you from where I have come." "Well then, come with me," said the king. So they got married and they had children. And their children had children, and they all grew up to be beautiful princes and princesses. And that queen thought she was the most fortunate person among women. She had a husband who loved her very much, many servants, wealth, children and grandchildren, and no difficulties of any kind. One day, an enemy king came and attacked the city. Her husband went out with his army and was slain in the battle. Her sons also were killed in the battle, and the city was sacked and burned. The queen ran out into the battlefield and took up her sons in her arms and began to cry in grief and anguish. Everything she had was gone. At that moment, a Brahmin came and said, "You can't stay in this battlefield with all these rotting corpses carrying on like this. Go home, perform the funeral rites, and do what is proper. Now, go take a bath and then proceed with your karma." The queen went to the lake and ducked under the water. When she rose up again, she had found that she had the body of Narad Muni. Narad looked behind him to find Vishnu standing. Vishnu asked Narad, "How is it that when I was a queen I could remember nothing of the life of Narad Muni? But now that I am Narad again, I remember everything about my life as a queen." "That is Maya," replied Vishnu. "The understanding of Maya is the attainment of all attainments. Maya rahitasya siddhatva siddhi." Let's move on to Sutra number 8. Pasachendana Sada Shiva. Pasha means the bondage or bond. It also means a net. We have seen the Nagapash, which is the divine weapon which can bind any opponent in battle. Mother says that egotism is one form of bondage. It is the greatest bondage because along with egotism comes the bondage of individual limitations, most formidable amongst which are Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Moh, and Matsaya. Kam means desire. Krodh means anger. Lobh means greed. Moh means ignorance. Moh means attachment. And Matsaya means jealousy. And these are the 6 limitations. These 6 limitations are the great pasha, or the bondage of the ego. We also call them the Shashtam Ripu. They are the 6 limitations that bind the ego into the lower realms. Our sutra says, Pashas Chedanena. In Sanskrit grammar, this is in the instrumental case. Chedana means cutting asunder. And ena means with or by means of. And Chedanena is by means of cutting pasha, the bondage. Sada Shiva is the second word. Sada is eternal, always continuing forever. Shivatvam is the attainment of Shiva, or the eternal attainment of Shiva, or the attainment of the eternal Shiva. Take your choice. We define Shiva as the consciousness of infinite goodness. Conceive the greatest goodness that's possible to be conceived. And now make it greater. That's the beginning point of your meditation. When you make it as great a goodness as you can possibly conceive, beyond which you cannot conceive any further, that's the beginning of the meditation on Sada Shiva, who is the eternal Shiva, the infinite Shiva, the infinite goodness. By cutting bondage, we attain to the eternal consciousness of infinite goodness. By cutting the cords of attachments, we attain to eternal, blissful consciousness. How do we maintain the highest ability in every action, the highest efficiency, the highest motivation, the highest elevation or illumination? How do we attain to the best in every action, the best that we can possibly perform? We're not seeking communion only at the time of puja or worship, but in each and every breath, in our every activity. It does not matter whether we are digging a ditch, teaching in school, appearing in court, negotiating a contract, or sitting at the fire. How do we give the most, the very best performance that we can? How do we attain our dharma, our ideal of perfection? There must be gyan, dhyan, bhakti, and karma. We know this intellectually, but how do we keep it with us throughout every action? When you maintain awareness of your true being, your true existence, your illumination is a beautiful contribution, and you will attain the wisdom and bliss of Shiva. Ma says that from your devotion, wisdom will be illuminated. This sutra has established a very clear definition of that goal. It doesn't propose to tell us the way to attain this. It just says that by cutting asunder all of our bonds, we reach the supreme consciousness. Ma remembers the story of Shukdev, especially where Janak said to Shukdev, even if you go into the forest with one stick, one asa, one begging bowl, if you maintain attachment, you will constantly be thinking about your possessions. Whereas, if you are free from attachment, you can rule a kingdom as vast as Mithila, and your mind will never be disturbed. That is the important principle. By increasing your devotion, your wisdom grows. Sharing in satsang, your wisdom grows. Take the inspiration, cultivate it with devotion and practice. Ma said here, tasty, so much taste. Everyone laughed when she said this. Extract the nectar from the tapasya that you are performing. Tapas literally means heat, but implies any act of purification in which our negativities, our negative tendencies are burned away. Every atom of existence is performing tapasya. Tapasya deva devato arvayam taposhi sarvam pratishtitam tasmat tapasreshta. From tapasya, all of the gods initially came. Within tapasya resides the entire pratishtitam, all that is established, this entire existence. Tasmat, therefore, tapaha, perform your tapasya. Sreshta, realize the ultimate. Every atom of existence is producing some kind of movement, and therefore some kind of vibration. Every movement produces friction. All friction creates heat. Heat is tapasya. Some atoms are producing divine tapasya. Some atoms are producing not so divine tapasya. But they are all producing heat. In the larger perception of things, every atom is divine. When we free ourselves from the egotism of judgment, from the discrimination which says that I am qualified to judge, that this is a good atom and that is a bad atom. When we free ourselves from that bondage, then from the viewpoint of Shiva, every atom is my atom. It's all me. They are all doing tapasya. Some are learning slower and some are learning faster. Some are cultivating better qualities and working at it harder. Some are just sort of meandering along their path to perfection. So the first step of cultivating devotion is satsang. Participating in satsang. Seek out pure company, good associations which will inspire you to make yourself better. Whatever inspiration you receive, take home and contemplate. Shravanam, mananam, nididhyasanam. Hear it, see it, perceive it, contemplate it deeply, and then meditate on it until it becomes instinctive. It becomes the reality of our lives. Ultimately, it gets pure, says Ma. You become the person that you are striving to become. You can see the progress. You can watch yourself and begin to like yourself a little bit more each time you cut a bond. You feel a little more independence and a greater freedom every time you put aside one of those bonds of attachment. Satsang is the first step, and a very important one. The more you move towards satsang, the closer you come to wise and noble thoughts. You get more contact, more examples of people who are living lives of renunciation instead of lives that are cultivating greater attachments. Then you get to come closer into the temple. First we build the outer temple, and then we build the inner temple, and then the innermost sanctum. In the Sundarakanda of Ramayana, Tulsidas wrote a beautiful verse, Tat Swarga Apavarga Sukh, Doriya Tula Eganga, Tula Nataki Sakalamili, Jo Sukha Lava Satsang. Hey, dear one, take all of the pleasures of between heaven and earth and count them all as one. As great a delight as that might be, it cannot possibly be as enjoyable as satsang. Through satsang, we have an opportunity to improve ourselves, to really make significant changes in our lives, to become the individual we respect. No other pleasure could be equal to becoming the person we love. That is why satsang is so important. We have been endowed with the responsibility of maintaining the ancient traditions by acting as an example to the next generation. We should start by increasing our recovery rate. Let's first start by cultivating enough resistance so that when we fall down, we pop right back up again. We are moving towards the ultimate goal of being so firmly rooted in faith that no one can ever shake our roots. We know that we are moving towards that, but we are not there yet. And if we are not there yet, then we are going to fall. When we do fall down, let's spring right back up and get right back to work again. It's not wrong to fall down. So we are praying to increase our recovery rate, our flexibility. Be content with small gains. Don't go for the big ones right now. Even a child takes faltering steps at first. I am a little sapling, and I know that when the wind comes, I'm going to bend. But every time I bend, at least let me have enough elasticity to straighten up again. One cannot say I have got to be a tree before my tenure as a sapling is not complete. Be content with small gains. They say when you plant a sapling, you must put a fence around it to protect it from the goats and deer. But when it sinks its roots deep into the soil, you can tie your elephant to it without a second thought. Ma says, be like a spring. Swami says he's more like a yo-yo. He goes down, but he comes right back up. You cut the bonds yourself. All the guru does is sharpen your knife. Become so strong in your faith that you never swerve from your ideal of perfection. The blessing of remembrance is knowing that we could fall at any moment. It could take a long time for us to remember and wake up. And that is why we are praying for quick recovery. Every time we fall, because we will fall, it is not wrong that we do. It is natural, so we should pick ourselves up again. Let us maintain the humility to remember that we could fall at any moment. Pray for elasticity to bounce right back up again until we become fixed in the eternal consciousness of Shiva. When you see that everything is in flux, you will see that I am not. Consciousness does not change because it is always the same. The objects of awareness change. The objects of awareness can manifest various qualities. Thought only reflects nature. As you practice tapasya, your ego becomes less attached to thought. The thoughts are not becoming more pure. In reality, you have the same thoughts, but you have less attachment to them. Consciousness is the infinite capacity of recognition. Ma says you are aware of the existence of a beautiful state of consciousness, but you do not know where it is. In reality, it is everywhere. Do not be foolish. Be fertile soil in which good seeds may easily take root. Pasha Chedanena Sada Shiva. Tearing asunder the bonds of attachment. We become one. We get the vision, the unity with the eternal consciousness of infinite goodness. Let's see if there are any questions.
Swamiji, I have a question about Maya, Swamiji.
Yes, please.
I've heard or read that there's a view that the world is unreal. Some people say, like in Vedanta, they say the world is unreal, the waking state is unreal.
Brahma Satya Jagat Mithya.
The other view is that everything is God. That is, even the entire gross world that you see is God. So, how do you reconcile the 2 points of view? One is that everything is God, and the other thing is the world itself is, so the world is also God. And the other view is the world is unreal. And is it worth thinking about this first point of view?
You can't think about the first point of view. You can only realize the first point of view. The Maya of Vedanta is a realization, it's not a discussion. There's nothing to talk about. Brahma, 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 Brahma. Brahma, 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 Brahma. Brahma, 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 Brahma. And what else could you say, possibly, when you were There's only one. Brahma, 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 Brahma. So the Maya of Vedanta is Sada Shiva. It's eternal consciousness. When Maya is one with Shiva, then there's only consciousness and there's only unity and there is no duality. So who will say what to whom? There's no action, there's no interaction. All motion stops. And that only exists in the deepest nirvikalpa samadhi. It exists. It is not devoid of existence, but it only can be realized. It cannot be discussed. All the rishis could say was neti neti. It's not this and it's not that. What it is, we can't speak. Now, the Maya of Tantra is mother is everywhere. Sri Ram Prasad is calling. The mother is everywhere. And it's all divine. Everything we see is a reflection, a murti of the image of divinity, the image of the Divine Mother, showing herself to us. That we can perceive. If we have the eyes to see. Of course, you can't see them through your physical eyes. You will try to, through the physical eyes, to see this object is different from that object. But from the eye of love, from the eye of intuition, you can see, wow, everything is a container of consciousness. It's all a container of love. It's only manifested there as a separate entity to demonstrate the love that God has for me by appearing in my life. What a privilege to be in your presence. So that's how we reconcile the two. We practice the love of the mother until we realize the love of the father. We do the sadhana of the Divine Mother to see her presence everywhere until we become one with Shiva. And then we enter into the realization of Shiva.
Swamiji, a question from Usha from Canada.
Namaste, Ushama.
Swamiji, they say that iti iti is higher than neti neti. Is this so?
I don't know if it's higher, but it certainly comes first. You could say it's not this and it's not that, but you can say it is this and it is this. And iti, I don't know if it's higher, but it sure is a lot more fun. Being a Vedantin is not much fun, Usha. It's a realization. But living in a world surrounded by the Divine Mother, surrounded by divinity, and acting and interacting with divinity all the time, that's a lot of fun. So iti, I don't know if it's higher, but it sure is a lot more fun.
Swamiji, and in page 65,
yes,
where we say that when one performs pious austerities for Maya and shouting for Maya, here do we understand Maya as Divine Mother? Absolutely.
The measurement of divinity, the measurement, the definition of consciousness, the container of consciousness is Maya.
Swamiji, question from Wendy from New Jersey.
Namaste, Wendy Ma. Namaste, Sam.
Namaste, Ma and Swamiji. If desire is a limitation that bonds us to our ego, does that mean we want to rid ourselves of desire? Isn't the desire not to have any desire still a desire?
Yes, Wendy, it is a desire. So we're not trying to rid ourselves of desire, because the fact that I desire to end my desires is another desire, and I end up into an ad infinitum retrogression. It's a logical fallacy. So what I want to do is discriminate and purify my desires and think of which desires are going to get me in trouble and which desires are going to bring me closer and closer to God. Which desires are pure desires and which desires are not so pure. And what can I do without? What's really important to me in terms of the definition of my goal? If my goal is actually self-realization, if my goal is actually to be one with God, then which desires that I have are just infatuations, that are just transient infatuations, that are going to take me on a tangent. And which desires are really incumbent upon me to fulfill to reach my ultimate objective. That discrimination will take us, that'll be enough. That will be sufficient to have vigilance and discrimination over our desires, so we don't follow every passing thought that comes into our mind, every transient infatuation. We don't have to run off in pursuit of it.
Question from Vishweshwar from Napa.
Namaste, Vishweshwar.
How do we react and interact with negative people?
With great caution. With great caution, put on your kavach, put on your suit of armor, and install the deity in your heart, and then make sure you stay centered and don't assume the qualities of negativity that they are projecting. Use your discrimination and use your truth and speak slowly. Don't get excited, because you will make a mistake. That would be my greatest advice to you, Vishweshwar. Put on the suit of armor, put the Divine Mother in your heart, get centered. If you know that you're entering into a negative negotiation, put yourself in the greatest harmony and negotiate from clarity and strength.
Question from Parvati from Sacramento.
Namaste, Parvati Ma.
Swamiji, can you describe the path of karma, the path of bhakti, path of jnana, and path of dhyana?
Can I describe them as separate paths? No. Can I describe them as elements of one path? Yes. Because when I love someone, I want to learn about them. So to the extent of my bhakti, my gyan increases. And when I love someone, I pay attention to them. So to the extent of my bhakti, my gyan increases. All of this is demonstrated through my activity, whatever karma I'm performing. So then dhyan, gyan, bhakti, and karma are four aspects of my spiritual life. They are inseparable. You cannot sever one and say, I'm only a bhakta. Doesn't a bhakta sing and dance? Well, that's karma. Wait, when they're singing and dancing, don't they pay attention to what they're singing and dancing about? That's meditation, that's dhyan, that's attentiveness. Dhyan, gyan, bhakti, and karma are not four separate paths. They are the four constituent elements of everybody's path. No matter what you're doing. Either you're paying attention or you're not. If you're doing something, you're doing karma. If you're not paying attention, there's a lack, there's minus dhyan. If you don't know what you're doing, there's minus gyan. If you have no devotion to what you're doing or to whom or for whom you are doing it, then there is minus bhakti. But all four are constituent elements in every action. When we talk about yoga, these are the four paths, the four elements that bring us on the path to union.
Swamiji, question from Nanda from San Jose.
Namaste, Nanda Ma.
Namaste, Ma and Swamiji. Cutting asunder all our bonds. Why would we want to cut bonds of love and affection? Can you please help me understand? Thank you.
Nanda Ma, let's first cut asunder all the bonds which to these ripus that we are talking about. Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Moh, Moda, Matsarja. These are greed and ignorance and attachment and jealousy and anger. These types of, we're going to cut the bonds which bind us to negativities. That's the first thing that we have to do. Now we're going to, in doing that, in cutting asunder the bonds to negativity, we're going to enhance our attachments to the positive, to the love for the Guru, to the respect for wisdom, to the love of God. And then our bhakti grows. And as our bhakti grows, our meditation grows. And as our meditation grows, our understanding grows. And as our understanding grows, our capacity to perform karma grows. So we have a win-win situation.
Swamiji, so how do we cut these bonds?
First step was satsang. And then in the second step, there was listening to the stories of the saints. And then in the third step, we were singing the stories ourselves. And in the fourth step, we were analyzing them and understanding them and applying the lessons to our lives. And we had 9 steps of devotion, which Ram told us. And this is how we cut asunder the bondage, which keeps us in the lower energies.
Question from Sadhuma from North Carolina.
Namaste, Sadhuma.
Swamiji, what about meditating on the Guru if she is a symbol of perfection? The Guru is like the mirror, as is Shiva. Is that so, Swamiji?
Absolutely. She is the image of Shiva. She is the living, walking, talking image of Shiva. She is purity incarnate, and she is the example which can take us to Shiva. By following the example of the Guru, by meditating upon the qualities of the Guru, we assume the vibrations of the Guru. We start to sit like she sits and sing like she sings and chant like she chants and breathe like she breathes until we become altogether filled with her bhav. We have inculcated her qualities into our own spiritual practices. And that is the path. Devotion to the Guru will make us want to emulate the Guru and to worship as she worships. With the regularity of a Swiss watch made in India. And then, then we worship as she worships, and we inculcate the bhav with which she worships, and then we become the disciple, the shishya. We're not just a bhakta. Remember, bhaktas and shishyas are not exactly the same. Bhaktas are devotees, shishyas are disciples. Devotees praise the attainment of the Guru, but don't necessarily change their lives themselves. Disciples not only praise the attainment of the Guru, but they become the reflection, the mirror image of all the qualities of the Guru to the extent of their capacity. They change their behavior because of the association with the Guru. So yes, meditating upon the Guru as Shiva will bring you to Shiva. No question.
Swamiji, question from Vishweshwar.
Yes, please.
When one has children, one wants them to have the same goals as we do, but they may not. How do we work with them to help them raise their goals? Is this possible?
It is possible. The first thing is an example. Mother and father are the first example. They are the first gurus. So the first thing you want to do is show a good example. The second thing you want to do is show them lots of understanding and give them good knowledge and inspiration, because you can show them, gee, if you take this path, this is the likely destination that you'll arrive at. And if you take that path, it's most probable that you'll arrive at that destination. Which would you prefer? What outcome are you searching for? You have to teach them the art of discrimination as well as demonstrate it yourselves.
Swamiji, question from Wendy.
Yes, Wendy?
Swamiji, I find that sometimes I can go for a stretch of time and not remember anything about my spiritual practices. Is this the veil of Maya coming down and covering me? What can I do to increase the strength of my remembrance? Thank you.
You can ask Maya to lift her veil and reveal herself as the Divine Mother. And the same Maya, instead of obscuring your spiritual longing, she will enhance your spiritual longing. So you pray to her, please don't let me forget. And forgive yourself when you do, but pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and start on the path again. This is the process. We will fall down. The Maya is strong. But when we realize that we've fallen, thank you, Mother, for the lessons that you taught me. And now, give me the inspiration and the strength to pick myself up and continue the journey again.
Nanda is asking, Swamiji, I can understand why the 6 limitations ultimately hurt only me, but yet I'm not able to go beyond them. Can you please suggest how to overcome these enemies? Thank you.
First step is satsang, Nandama. As much as you can, be with a good association. Be with people who are trying to control their kam, krodh, lo, moda, matsaj. Try to be with good people. Now, if you can't, and you physically cannot be there, then get on the webcam. And if you can't get on the webcam, then get on the club or on the website, or read a good book. Or I used to have 3 walls full of books. I had the greatest satsang in anyone in my village, and I would rarely go outside of my little cubicle. I had a little hut, and I had one side was the altar, in the middle was the havan, and on 3 sides were books, and I had satsang all day long. Create yourself a space, an environment where you can be practical and function in the world, and every time you look up, you get another inspiration. Look at the walls of the Devi Mandir. Every wall has a symbol of divinity. Wherever you look, you will be inspired. Please import this into your environment, and all into your office, into your cubicle, into your computer, wherever you go. Surround yourself with a cocoon of divinity, a kavach of divinity, so that you are protected. And that will be the way when these enemies attack, you've got the strength and the fortitude, you've got the weapons, you've got the knowledge, and you are protected. Surrender to the grace of the Guru. She'll be with you all the time.
Vishweshwar is asking, when 2 folks come together in marriage, they have the same goals. It feels as if they become one soul. Yet it is stated that one leaves this earth alone. What is the truth?
The truth is that we all go alone, and we all come alone, but we come again and again to be together. You will come into the world alone. You choose a family according to your karma, according to your prarabdha. Prarabdha bashat janma. That was our first principle. We chose the family that was most conducive, to provide an environment which would be most conducive to our accomplishing the unfinished business from previous incarnations. When we go, we're going to go alone. Now, when we come into manifestation, we always seek out beings of a similar nature to our own. If you put all the elements into a test tube, you'll find that always the 2 atoms of hydrogen will seek out the 1 atom of oxygen and make H2O. No matter how many elements you put into the test tube, the like will always seek the like, where there's an affinity to unite. And again, you're going to find your partner, your soulmate, who will help you through this journey.
Question from Kumari from Valleyho.
Namaste, Kumari Ma.
What is the effect of tapas and sankalpas on prarabdha karma?
Kumari Ma, the tapas and sankalpas and spiritual exercises are that part of karma called nitya karma. Remember, it's eternal. It's no different today than it was yesterday, and it will be the same tomorrow too. We're just in love with God. There is no wishing for the future and no regretting from the past. If we are in nitya karma, when the prarabdha comes and says, hey, you've got unfinished business, there's nobody home. You've got a sankalpa. I'm sorry, Mr. Prarabdha, you're going to have to wait until I finish this sankalpa, because I can't deal with any other karma now. I'm eternal. And as long as you remain eternal, then you're free from prarabdha karma. When you break your asana and stand up, then it's open season. You're fair game for all the prarabdha karma. He can say to you, okay, Miss Kumari Ma, now go to work. Go clean up the mess that you made in your last life or in the last incarnation. Om Sam Saraswati Namaha. Namaste.
Very good.
Thank you very much for joining us in this discussion tonight. Tomorrow is Saturday, and we're going to get to sing with Srima. And then on Sunday, you can tune in for the Chandi Homa. And we'll continue again on Monday night with the next sutra. Thank you very much. Namaste.